So you're probably wondering why I'm just laying like this. Well, that's because this became a very familiar position for me when I was dealing with my sciatica. In fact, I was dealing with it for over a year and it was debilitating. I couldn't do anything really. All I do is try to figure out how to relieve the pain and the numbness, the stiffness. And I try all these different stretches and techniques, and nothing really seemed to work. I even went to a physical therapist and it didn't help at all. You see, that's because I didn't realize at the time that not all sciatica is created equal. In fact, sciatica is caused by three different things. And if we don't know how to figure out what's causing it, then any treatment plan we do not only is not going to work, it might actually make the symptoms a lot worse. And that's where I was. Welcome back to Limit Breaker Fitness. My name's Monty. I've got a background in human physiology, and I use that expertise to lose over 50 pounds. Unfortunately, it took me a lot longer to lose this weight than I would have liked because I had to deal with sciatica for a little over a year. I was dealing with my sciatica in the wrong way, though. Before being able to figure it out and fix it, I had to first learn what exactly was causing my sciatica. Now, there's three reasons why sciatica gets flared up. The first is a disc bulge. The second is long piriformis syndrome. And the third is short piriformis syndrome. Today, I'm going to go over what each one is and how we can test to see if that's what it is. And then afterwards, I'll have a playlist linked up here with different treatment plans depending on what kind of sciatica it is that we are dealing with. So, sciatica is caused when the sciatic nerve, which starts in the L4 vertebra and runs down the back of the body all the way down to the heel, gets irritated. Now, there's different reasons why this nerve can get irritated. The first reason is a disc bulge in the low back. Now, to identify if this is what's causing our sciatica, we need to test our spine. To do this, first, we're going to sit in a neutral position. If we're in a neutral position like this, it shouldn't be flaring up our symptoms at all. That's because in this position, there's no pressure being put on the discs that are pushing them back into the sciatic nerve. So as long as this is painless, that's good. At least it should be painless anyway. To test it, we're going to go ahead and round our spine, in particular our low back here. If you find that this is sparking pain, numbness, tingling, then it means you're dealing with a disc bulge, and that's what's causing the sciatica. So this is a very simple way to just see if that's a disc bulge, and hopefully it's not. Luckily, in my case, that's not what I was dealing with. So that's number one. That's how you see if it's a disc bulge. The second reason for our sciatica could be long piriformis syndrome. The piriformis is a muscle that's The piriformis is a muscle that is located in the butt, and it's used to externally rotate the hip, meaning anytime that we want to open up our leg, that piriformis is going to be involved in the motion. Now, the piriformis sits on top of the sciatic nerve. And so in long piriformis syndrome, it's stretched out, and the stretching of the muscle causes compression on the nerve, and that's what sparks the sciatica. To test and see if it's long piriformis syndrome, what we're going to want to do is first lay flat on our back and do something called the Faber test. We're going to lay with our legs straight out, then we're going to take our good leg, cross it over our knee, and just let it hang there. We're going to look and see how low it's hanging, and then we're going to go to the other side and compare. You see how this leg is a lot higher? Well, if one leg, the bad leg, is a lot higher than the other side, that means you're dealing with long piriformis syndrome. Remember, the piriformis is used to open that hip up. And so if it's in a stretched position, you're not going to be able to open it up like this. And you're going to be dealing with long piriformis syndrome. That's actually what I was dealing with. The third reason why sciatica can flare up is short piriformis syndrome. Now, just like with long piriformis syndrome, the muscle is compressing that sciatic nerve. Well, what happens with short piriformis syndrome is the piriformis is incredibly tight. And because it's tight, that's what's causing compression on that nerve. Now, to test and see if it's short piriformis syndrome, we want to test the internal rotation of our hip. So we're going to get in the same position that we just did for the Faber test, and we're going to do a 90-degree hip internal rotation test. It sounds way more complicated than it is. All you're going to do is bring the knees up, and then you're going to go one leg at a time, starting with the painless side, and you're going to push that knee in, and you're going to see how far in can it go. Then you're going to do the same thing with the painful side. And if you're limited in how far in you can pull this leg, that means you're dealing with short piriformis syndrome. So remember, the piriformis works to open it up. So if it's tight, we can't close that in. Let me turn around here and you can get a better angle. So we're going to come up, bring our knees. We're going to start with the good leg. We're going to go in, see where that is. Remember to keep the pelvis against the ground. Open that up and then test the other side. So they're relatively even. And because they're even, it means I'm not dealing with that short piriformis syndrome. But if this side can come in all the way, but this side is limited here, well, I'm dealing with short piriformis syndrome. Now, it sounds kind of complicated. There's a lot of words there where if you're not familiar with human anatomy, it could be a little confusing. So if you need help figuring out what's causing your sciatica, feel free to click the link below and we can schedule a video call. We can go over the different tests and I can help you identify what kind of sciatica it is you're dealing with. But if now you figured out what kind of sciatica you're dealing with, be sure to click the link to the playlist that I'll have made up. It's going to deal with, it's going to have this video in it to help you decide or figure out what kind of sciatica you have. And then it's going to have 3 more videos, each with a treatment plan, depending on what's causing your sciatic symptoms. So that's all going to be there. Links in the description, and I'll link them in the pinned comment as well to make it even easier. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button. And if you've got a friend that's dealing with sciatica, be sure to send them the video. Hopefully this can help them out. And I'll see you next time.